Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om.
Namaste. So let's talk about chapter 16 of the Vidyes Samhita of Shiva Purana. This chapter has to do with deity worship, worship of the forms of God. Now, previously, he discussed the glories of the Shivalinga and its worship. And those are for one, for qualified brahmanas, and two, for those who really want to end their material existence. They want out of here. I'm finished. I'm done with this. No more. So those who worship Shivalingam, and especially with the 5-syllable mantra Om Namo Shivaya, they get liberation of 5 different kinds. We talked about that before. So, what about people who have material desires? Now, Logisticon, one of our viewers, very intelligent and also Shaivite, brought up this question in his comment last night, that why do we need worship of other gods, demigods, even Vishnu? Because Shiva is more than competent to bestow all kinds of benefits. Well, the answer is a lot of people aren't ready to worship Shiva. A lot of people, due to their past karma, are in conditioned consciousness. They're craving different material results. They want this, they want that, And they are afraid of Shiva because they know deep down that Shiva gives the complete annihilation of material existence. So they kind of shy away from Shiva. So all right, they can worship other gods, other demigods, and get the material benefits that they're craving. And then, because that builds their trust in the process of worship, they gradually advance more and more. And of course, all the Vedic mantras beginning and ending with Aum give tremendous results. So the devotees ask Sutta, please explain deity worship by which all desired results are achieved. And Sutta replies, deity worship bestows all wealth, always. Like, why are you working for a living? Why are you poverty-stricken? Why don't you have all your time and energy available for spiritual life? Why are you forced to serve materialistic masters who just get rich off of your hard labor? It's karma. And to wipe off that karma due to sinful activities in this life or in a previous life, you have to do some kind of worship. Karma yoga. See? If you have a karma problem, you do karma yoga to solve it. I did years of deity worship. I might be an Advaita now. I might be a Shaivite now. But back when I was a Vaishnava, I was trained up in Vrindavan, India by my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, to do puja and kirtan. That was my life for years. And I traveled all over the world doing these kirtans and worshiping different deities. You see, this was my good karma. This was punya. This is shubha karma. coming from some previous life. I don't remember, but I must have somehow pleased God to get such a great spiritual master. I mean, he took care of me, literally, gave me a place to live and food to eat and plenty of service to do for many years. But you can do the same. If you can't arrange a deity form in your house, according to these chapters, you can worship a picture. There are plenty on the internet. You can download it, print it out, put it in a little frame, get some incense and water and some flowers. Anybody can get these things. It's not only rich people. And you can start accumulating good karma that will eventually lead to being liberated from the need to serve materialistic masters. See? It doesn't matter, even if you're already realized or partially realized, or even if you are already in bhakti, even if you're already a meditator, that's all right. Don't you still have material problems? Well then, perform deity worship to get rid of them. You know, it's so simple. But people have this causeless unwillingness. I've seen it in Tiruvannamalai especially. These kids come from the West. They think they can jump up to the Jnana Yoga platform without doing any karma yoga, without doing any rituals or prayers or offerings or charity or any karma yoga at all. And what happens? They fall down. They still maintain the fiction that, oh, I'm a jnani. But they're involved in sex life and drugs and illegal businesses and all kinds of nonsense. They're going to suffer for this. Doesn't matter how realized you are. If you have bad karma, you're going to suffer for it. Or at least the body and mind are going to suffer. And if you're identified with the body and mind, then you're in trouble. So this is why I advise everybody to watch or hear these chapters in their entirety. Not just skip over them and watch the spiritual insights. Because that's kind of cheating, because now you don't have any idea actually what it's about. And you just hear my comments on it, which are pretty sparse, really, and kind of abstract. So go back and watch the videos, you know, or listen to the podcast, which is linked in the video description. And get the real material from the original source. My comments are just icing on the cake. So the next chapter, or the next part of this chapter, 16, talks about the results and when and where these rituals are to be performed for the maximum results. And the results that they give, I mean, they're really quite impressive. And again, the Phala Shruti at the end of the chapter is, a man who worships both the phallic emblem of Shiva and the devotees of Shiva attains salvation. O Brahmanas, stable devotion can be found firmly established and flourishing only in that person who reads this chapter or listens to it attentively. He doesn't say anything about those who watch the Spiritual Insights video. That's optional. But do go listen to the chapter and, you know, get it right straight from the source. So I want to tell you, since following these instructions, since becoming a devotee of Shiva and beginning to worship him, I finally got the thing that I've been looking for my whole life. My whole life I've been looking for, well, I don't know if it's right to call it love, but a kind of merging, a kind of deep communion with an admirable being you know, a beautiful person, someone highly spiritual and beautiful, powerful, wise, and so on. And I finally found it. You know, even all those years in Vaishnavism, I never got this sense of being really close to Vishnu. Vishnu is always kind of removed, you know, kind of formal mood, a little distance there. And no matter how much seva that you do, you get the results, but they're quite delayed. You know, often many years delayed, or even next lifetime. So it's not like that with Shiva at all. With Shiva, the result is immediate. I remember when I was in Rishikesh, and I had just purchased the crystal Shiva Lingam that I'm going to install in the new temple that we're building. Oh, that's another series you should watch. And I was practicing, you know, I'm trying to evolve or develop a simplified form of worship that anybody can do. So I was experimenting with different things. And the first time I offered a lamp, I mean, just a simple lamp, a copper plate with some oil and ghee and a wick coming out and lit with a lighter, you know, ordinary cigarette lighter, and offered to this Shiva Lingam, who isn't even installed. Shiva came into that lingam. His presence was so powerful. I was hit with it like a bolt of intense bliss that, I mean, something I've never experienced before. You know, I know about bliss, okay? If you watch the Secret of the Golden Flower series, I give the secret of bliss, how you can attain bliss anytime. So, all right, once you have a reliable and steady method of attaining bliss, your relationship to bliss kind of changes, you know? It's not this rare, special thing that only once in a while in a blue moon, you know, you get to experience. It's like everyday kind of thing. Like I wake up early in the morning. Like this morning I woke up at 3:30. That's kind of normal, you know. And what's the first thing I do? That secret technique from the Golden Flower series. And, you know, reliably gives me bliss. And that gets me through the day. You know, that gets me up and going. But today, I mean, when I first offered the lamp, now the lamp, according to Shiva Purana, grants wisdom. It grants intelligence, knowledge, and clear vision of the meaning of the scriptures and so on. So I offered this lamp, and I got this blast of bliss. I mean, it was so intense, I literally had to go lie down. It was like, whew, you know, that was heavy. And so, you know, this is Shiva. He immediately reciprocated my tiny little service with this unprecedented, amazing rush of bliss that is still, you know, very fresh in my mind, like it happened yesterday. And this morning, like I said, I got up at 3:30 and I began to chant my mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, and the light came, you know, like it does every morning. But this morning, after chanting for some time in meditation, there was this feeling of closeness, of merging with Shiva that is so pleasant, it's hard to describe. And it's like, this is what I've been looking for. This is why I studied so many scriptures and did so many methods of meditation and traveled all over the world looking for teachers and so on. This is what I was looking for. This is it. this is what gives the deep satisfaction of the soul like nothing I've ever experienced before. You can have this too. You just have to follow the instructions. Don't think you know better than Shiva Purana. You don't. Follow the instructions and see what happens. Anybody can get a picture of Shiva or whatever god you like and offer some little incense or water or flowers or food or whatever. And this is the thing. No one is barred. No one is excluded. Everyone can do this simple process and gain all the benefits up to and including Sayuja Mukti, or merging with Shiva, which is just the most pleasant, cooling, pleasing to the mind experience of enlightenment that I've ever had. Om Tat Sat. Om Shakti Om. Om Namah Shivaya.